What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about tech topics, and today's video is a bit shorter because it's pretty straightforward what I'm talking about, and that is the top 3 things that I wish I knew before starting working. Now you guys know the drill. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me and like the video because it really helps me with the YouTube algorithm and I appreciate it a lot. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and last week I realized that I'm about to hit my 2-year anniversary at work, which means I'm no longer a new grad. And I haven't been a new grad for a while now, even though I still feel like one. I feel like I only graduated like last month or something. Like honestly, time has flown by super quick. But in that vein of thought, I want to make a video regarding the top things that I wish I knew before I started working, before I forget it all. And here is the first one. Don't be afraid to make mistakes as a new grad. I know there's a lot of pressure as a new grad, like to not break things and not mess things up for your team. But I just want to say that I feel like this is the wrong mentality, and don't be afraid to mess up. I messed up so many times when I first started working, it was unbelievable. In fact, I messed up so many times that I made a video about my top 3 worst mistakes as a new grad, which I invite you to check out if you want to know what some of those mistakes were. But my point is that most new grads are expected to make mistakes, and no one is perfect, of course. Everybody is going to make mistakes at some point. I think what's more important is actually how you respond to your mistakes. Do you take responsibility for it? Do you let your team know what has happened, like what has transpired? Are you transparent about it with your manager? As long as you are all of these things, then it's really okay to make mistakes, and you should view them as a learning opportunity and never make these mistakes again. Don't just keep your head down and hope that no one notices or hope that someone else will fix it, because what people want to see is that you are someone who's responsible for your own work. Let your team know what's gone wrong, what the impact is, how you're planning on fixing it, and trust me, your team will respect you a lot more because of this. Now, of course, if you're still new to the job, like a few weeks into your job, then obviously you might not know the best ways to fix some of the damage that you caused, in which case you should just ask for help. I'm sure nobody on your team will hold it against a new grad for making a mistake, and they should be more than willing to help you out. Tip number 2 is to not be afraid to speak up. So as a new grad, I felt like in a lot of meetings I had some what I perceived to be really good ideas, and even though they may not have been great ideas, I was often paralyzed by my fear to speak up because I didn't want to sound stupid or something. I didn't want my team members to think that they hired an idiot, so most of the time I was just silent in my meetings and I just left a lot of my thoughts unspoken, and I want to strongly advise against this. And honestly, this is something that I still struggle with today. I find myself quiet in meetings more often than I would like, and so this is something that I'm still working towards today. But basically, you want to speak your opinion when you have one. This will establish you on your team as someone who's very vocal about stuff and hopefully has some really good ideas. Again, this can only help you earn the respect of your team. If you're afraid of saying dumb things, then just remember that everybody says something dumb at some point of their career. Senior engineers, staff engineers, everybody says something dumb at some point. I think it's actually better to be a vocal person who is occasionally wrong than a non-vocal person who just never says anything. My third tip as something that you can work on as a new grad, and again, something that I personally am definitely still working on today, is to start thinking about the why behind the work that you're doing. So as a new grad, you'll honestly start off with a lot of work items or tickets that your manager or another team member has assigned to you. And as a new grad, you usually just keep your head down and you start working on it, right? You don't really ask questions. Well, I am here today to encourage you to think about the why behind the work that you're working on. Why is this work important to your team? Why was this assigned to you? Why does it matter in the long run? I think one thing that I did very poorly during my first 1.5 years at work, or 1 year and like 8 months, is that I really didn't question the why behind my work. I just did the tickets as they came in and as they were assigned to me. And I kind of just trusted my manager to give me meaningful work. And he did, but it's really important that I should have understood the why behind it as well. Your manager might handhold you for a few months, or your manager might not handhold you at all. But your manager definitely will not handhold you for the rest of your career. And at some point, you're going to be coming up with your own design documents, you're going to be coming up with your own project proposals, your own ideas, and it's really important to just understand the why behind the stuff that you are designing and the stuff that you are working on. I would actually say that it's even expected for new grads to not really focus on the whys of their projects, but instead to just full steam ahead with the work. But I would say if you're able to start thinking about the whys of the project, why this needs to be done, why is this relevant, how does this sort of help the team, then you will be a step ahead of all the other new grads and definitely setting yourself up for future success. Usually when companies are promoting engineers, they want to look at the impact of the engineer's work. So if you're unable to say like why this project was impactful, why this led to better results for your team or your company, then it's highly unlikely that that will look favorably upon you. And again, this is definitely something that I am still personally working on as someone who has been in industry for almost 2 years now. It's definitely not easy trying to figure out the whys of the stuff. It's much easier to just take the next ticket and just work on it. But if you can start doing this, I highly recommend it. Okay, well, those are 3 things that I wish I knew before I started working full-time as a new grad. Let me know your thoughts down below, whether you agree or disagree with this list. Maybe I'm just way behind everyone else and everyone else is already doing this. I don't know, honestly. But if you're not already doing this, I highly recommend you do it. If you're already doing this, then obviously good for you. I'm really happy for you. Just keep on doing it. Yeah, let me know down below your thoughts or some other stuff that you would recommend other new grads know before they start working. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow me on social media. I really appreciate it. See you guys next week. Thanks.